Most gardens are built around a simple idea. Work first, harvest later. Every spring the same cycle begins. Soil is tilled, beds are prepared, seeds are planted, weeds are pulled, pests are controlled, and for a few months the garden becomes a constant project. Water it, maintain it, fix problems. Then the growing season ends and the whole process resets again next year. New seeds, new work, new effort. For many people, this cycle becomes exhausting. Gardening starts as something peaceful and rewarding, but over time it can slowly turn into another long list of chores. And that's one of the reasons many people eventually stop gardening altogether. But what if a garden could work differently? What if, instead of rebuilding the system every year, the garden slowly became easier to manage over time? Instead of needing more attention, it needed less. Instead of constant planting, digging, and fixing problems, the system began maintaining itself. This idea is sometimes called a lazy garden, not because nothing happens, but because the system is designed so that natural processes handle most of the work. The soil improves itself, plants return year after year. Organic matter stays in the system instead of being removed. And slowly the garden begins to behave less like a project and more like a small ecosystem. In natural landscapes, this kind of system is normal. Forests don't need to be replanted every year. Meadows don't need constant soil preparation. Plants grow, die, decompose, and feed the next generation automatically. The fertility cycle is continuous. Leaves fall to the ground, insects break them down, fungi connect plant roots underground, and nutrients move through the system without anyone managing it. When gardeners borrow some of those same patterns, something interesting begins to happen. The garden becomes more stable. Soil begins holding water better. Plants develop deeper root systems. Pest problems often decrease as beneficial insects become part of the environment. And perhaps most importantly, the amount of work required from the gardener starts dropping each season. Beds that once needed constant care begin producing on their own. Plants that were planted years ago quietly return each spring without any effort at all. Some even expand naturally, spreading into nearby spaces and creating new patches of food without additional planting. Over time, a garden built this way becomes very different from a traditional vegetable garden. It becomes layered. Some plants grow low to the ground. Others climb, some return every year. Others reseed themselves automatically. Certain plants improve the soil while others produce food. Everything plays a role, and slowly the system begins producing more while requiring less work. But building a lazy garden isn't about abandoning the garden or letting everything grow wild. There's actually a simple structure behind it. A few key choices that determine whether the system becomes productive or simply turns into an overgrown mess. The first principle behind a lazy garden is something that many traditional gardens completely ignore: permanent soil. In most backyard gardens, soil is disturbed every single year. Beds are tilled, turned, or dug before planting begins. While this seems helpful at first, constant disturbance slowly breaks down the natural structure of the soil. Healthy soil isn't just dirt, it's a complex living system made up of microbes, fungi, insects, worms, and plant roots all working together underground. When soil is repeatedly disturbed, many of those natural systems are disrupted. Fungal networks break apart, beneficial organisms are exposed to sunlight and air, and the soil structure that holds moisture and nutrients begins to weaken. Over time, this creates a strange cycle. The more the soil is disturbed, the more inputs it needs. Fertilizer, compost, and amendments become necessary just to keep plants growing well. But a lazy garden takes the opposite approach. Instead of disturbing the soil every year, the goal is to leave it as undisturbed as possible. Beds become permanent spaces where the soil ecosystem is allowed to develop naturally. When soil remains in place year after year, several important things begin to happen. First, microbial life increases dramatically. Bacteria and fungi form stable networks underground that help plants access nutrients more efficiently. Second, the soil structure improves. Tiny air pockets develop between soil particles, allowing water to soak in instead of running off the surface. This also allows plant roots to grow deeper into the ground. And third, organic matter begins to accumulate naturally. Instead of constantly removing plant material from the garden, a lazy garden allows many of those materials to remain in place. Leaves, plant stems, and roots slowly break down and return nutrients to the soil. Little by little, the ground becomes darker, softer, and easier to work with. Gardeners who switch to this approach often notice something surprising after a few seasons. The soil that once required heavy digging becomes loose enough to plant directly into with very little effort. But permanent soil beds are only part of the system. The second principle is just as important, and it may be the most visible difference between a traditional garden and a lazy garden. In most gardens, bare soil is everywhere, between rows of plants, around the edges of beds, and often during the early part of the season before crops grow large enough to shade the ground. But in natural ecosystems, bare soil almost never exists. The ground is always covered with something. Leaves, grass, fallen branches, living plants, or organic debris protect the soil from sunlight and wind. This natural cover performs several important jobs at once. It holds moisture in the soil, it prevents erosion during heavy rain, and it feeds the organisms living underground as the material slowly breaks down. Lazy gardens borrow this exact idea. Instead of leaving soil exposed, gardeners keep the ground covered almost all the time. This layer might be made of straw, wood chips, leaves, grass clippings, or even plant trimmings from the garden itself. This protective layer is often called mulch. Mulch acts like a shield for the soil. It reduces evaporation, blocks many weeds from growing, and slowly decomposes into organic matter that feeds the soil ecosystem. Over time, mulch becomes one of the most powerful tools for reducing garden work. Fewer weeds appear, watering becomes less frequent, and soil fertility improves naturally as the organic layer breaks down. But even with permanent beds and heavy mulch, a lazy garden still needs one more key element if it's going to produce large amounts of food with minimal effort. That element is the type of plants you choose to grow. Because some plants demand constant attention, while others quietly return year after year with almost no care at all, once the soil in a garden becomes stable and protected, the next step in creating a lazy garden is choosing plants that don't require constant replanting. This is where many traditional gardens miss a huge opportunity. Most backyard gardens are built almost entirely around annual vegetables, crops that grow quickly, produce food for a short period, and then die at the end of the season. Tomatoes, cucumbers, lettuce, beans, squash, peppers, these plants are productive, but they require the same process every year. Seeds must be planted again, seedlings must be protected, and beds must be prepared before each growing season. That constant reset is one of the biggest reasons gardening can feel like so much work. Lazy gardens take a slightly different approach. Instead of relying entirely on annual vegetables, they include a large number of perennial plants. Perennials are plants that establish themselves once and then continue producing for years. Some come back every spring from the same roots underground. Others spread slowly across the garden, creating new plants without needing to be replanted. This simple shift changes the entire rhythm of the garden. Instead of starting from zero each spring, parts of the garden are already growing before you even begin planting anything new. Shoots appear automatically as temperatures warm. Established roots pull nutrients from deep in the soil, and because the plants are already mature, they often grow faster and stronger than newly planted seedlings. Perennial plants also bring another advantage that fits perfectly with low-input gardening. They tend to develop deep root systems. Annual plants often have shallow roots because they only live for one season, but perennials remain in the soil year after year, sending roots deeper into the ground each season. Those deep roots allow them to reach moisture and nutrients that shallow-rooted plants cannot access. During dry periods, this can make them far more resilient than many annual crops, and those roots also improve the soil itself. As roots grow, die back, and regrow, they leave tiny channels underground that help water and air move through the soil. Microbes and earthworms use these pathways, slowly improving soil structure over time. So the plants are not only producing food, they're also helping rebuild the soil ecosystem. Some perennial plants are surprisingly productive as food crops. Many people already know about fruit trees and berry bushes, but there are also perennial vegetables that return every year. Certain herbs grow stronger with age. Some leafy greens reseed themselves naturally, and a few hardy vegetables produce harvests season after season with very little attention. Over time, these plants begin forming the backbone of a lazy garden. Each year they expand slightly. Some spread underground through roots. Others drop seeds that grow into new plants nearby. Slowly the garden becomes more stable and more productive at the same time. But there's another trick that makes lazy gardens even more powerful. Instead of planting everything in separate rows like traditional vegetable gardens, lazy gardens often mix plants together in layers. Some plants grow low to the ground. Others grow tall and provide shade. Some improve the soil while others produce food. When these plants work together, they begin supporting each other naturally. Once a garden has healthy soil and a mix of perennial plants, the next step in building a lazy garden is learning how to let plants support each other instead of competing for space. Most traditional gardens are designed in straight rows. Each crop is separated and managed individually. Tomatoes in one row, lettuce in another, beans somewhere else. This layout makes planting and harvesting easier, but it doesn't always create the most resilient system. In nature, plants rarely grow in neat rows. Instead, they grow in layers. Some plants spread across the ground, others grow upright. Some climb and some create shade underneath their leaves. Each layer uses sunlight, space, and nutrients in a slightly different way. Instead of competing, many plants actually support each other when they grow together. Lazy gardens borrow this idea by building small plant communities instead of isolated rows. For example, low-growing plants can cover the soil surface, acting like a living mulch that protects the ground from drying out. Taller plants can provide partial shade that helps prevent delicate crops from overheating during hot summer days. Climbing plants can grow up vertical supports or even use other sturdy plants as natural trellises. This layering effect allows the garden to produce more food in the same amount of space. But it also reduces the amount of maintenance required. When plants cover the soil naturally, fewer weeds are able to grow. When shade is created naturally, the soil holds moisture longer. When plants grow in mixed groups, pests have a harder time spreading from one plant to another. The garden slowly begins behaving more like a natural ecosystem. Instead of depending on the gardener to solve every problem, the plants themselves begin creating balance. Another interesting benefit appears after a few seasons. Beneficial insects start to move in. In traditional gardens with large areas of bare soil and single crops, beneficial insects often struggle to find shelter and food. But in layered gardens with many different plants, there are always flowers, hiding places, and small food sources available. This attracts pollinators, predator insects, and other helpful creatures that keep pest populations under control. Again, this reduces the amount of work required from the gardener. Instead of constantly fighting problems, the system becomes more stable. But there's still one more powerful element that turns a lazy garden into a long-term food-producing system, and it has nothing to do with plants themselves. It has to do with what stays in the garden after harvest. Because many traditional gardens remove huge amounts of organic material every season, material that could actually be feeding the soil. One of the final pieces that turns a regular garden into a true lazy garden is surprisingly simple. Stop removing so much from the system. In many traditional gardens, the growing season ends with a big cleanup. Dead plants are pulled out, leaves are raked away. Stems and roots are removed and thrown into compost piles or yard waste bins. The beds are left bare and empty until the following spring. At first glance, this seems tidy and responsible. But when large amounts of organic material are constantly removed from the garden, something important disappears with it. Nutrients. Every plant that grows in the garden pulls minerals and organic compounds out of the soil. Those nutrients become part of the stems, leaves, and roots of the plant. When those materials are removed completely, the soil slowly loses some of the fertility it helped create. That's one of the reasons so many gardens eventually rely on outside inputs like fertilizer or imported compost. But lazy gardens follow a different pattern, one that looks much closer to what happens in natural ecosystems. Instead of exporting organic material, much of it stays right where it grew. After harvest, plant stems can be cut and dropped onto the soil surface. Leaves can remain as natural mulch. Roots can stay underground where they slowly decompose and feed microbial life. Over time, these materials break down and return nutrients to the soil. It's a slow process, but it happens continuously. Each season adds another layer of organic matter. Microbes and insects process that material. Worms pull it deeper into the soil. And little by little, the ground becomes richer without the gardener needing to constantly add new inputs. This is one of the biggest advantages of a lazy garden. Instead of constantly trying to improve the soil from the outside, the system begins improving itself from the inside. Organic material cycles through the garden again and again. Plants grow, plants die. Plants feed the soil that will grow the next generation. When this cycle becomes stable, the amount of work required to maintain the garden drops dramatically. Beds that once needed digging become soft and easy to plant in. Soil that once dried out quickly begins holding moisture for longer periods. Plants grow stronger because they're supported by a healthy underground ecosystem. And perhaps the most satisfying part of all is that the garden becomes more productive each year. Not because more effort is being added, but because the system itself is becoming stronger. This is the real goal behind low-input living. It's not about avoiding work entirely. It's about designing systems where natural processes handle most of the effort. A garden that feeds the soil, soil that feeds the plants, plants that help maintain the entire system. Over time, that simple relationship can transform a garden from a seasonal project into a long-term food system that continues producing year after year. And once a garden reaches that point, it stops feeling like constant work and starts feeling like a living ecosystem that quietly takes care of itself.